Ladies and gentlemen, here I'm at the Wolves Den with Aldin Bates, who takes on Jono Micallef March 2nd at Melbourne Pavilion for the Hex welterweight title. Welcome, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for having me. How are you, mate?
Yeah, really good. Now, before we go into this Hex title fight, you were scheduled to fight for the Eternal welterweight belt at Feb 10th with Caleb Rideout. He got injured. Talk us through the timeline of how that fight fell out, and then we find ourselves fighting at Hex, which was announced essentially a few days later.
I don't think it was days announced days officially, but the fight was made within hours. So I got a bit of wind from the Eternal guys, the top guys at Eternal, mentioning that he might be injured. We might have to look for a replacement. This was on a Friday, and then by the Monday, it was confirmed that he's injured. We're looking for a replacement. So straight away, they asked me not to talk too much about it, but I thought I just want to announce it now. So I put a Facebook post out saying, obviously, my opponent got injured. I've been training for a long time. It's a shame, but obviously we're looking for a different opponent. Asking all the welterweights in the country to take the fight, and it's actually a true story. This is actually a pretty good story. So I was at work, I run my own electrical business. I delete my Instagram through the day just to hate looking through like too much shim, whatever. So I wrote that message and then deleted my Instagram. I had 2 phone calls. I had Steve, head coach, obviously Steve, and one of my mates ringing me, like panicking. I'm not panicking, but on the phone going, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say back to this? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, fucking I'm at work. Like, what do you want? Obviously, I've just been, the fight's been pulled and pissed off. Like, what do you want? They're like, oh, someone's called you out on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. I don't want to deal with this, like, these bullshit call outs to the young lads, whatever. And then I sort of quickly downloaded it and I seen it, and I was legit. It was the Hex champion, Jonno. I can't remember the word for word, but basically, if you want to go, let's go. And I very respectfully said it, and I thought, fair play to the lad. There's not that many young lads with that type of etiquette and brains to go, that's a good fight. First of all, he was looking for a fight. I'm looking for a fight. We've asked everybody else, whether it was him or his management, but props to all them, whoever did it, and yourself, Mitch, because I feel like you forced the hand a little bit of the Hex guys. I don't think they don't want to lose the bout to, they don't want to lose another bout to the WA boys, which is about to happen, but yeah, so from Jonno, he made that fight, whether it was him or his coach or his teammate, but their team, from that one message, obviously you jumped on it straight away. By the time I looked at my phone, I had no bullshit, 25 inbox messages, 100 notifications, all different people going, oh, the fight's on. I'm like, I don't even know what fight you're talking about. I didn't really know who he was. I seen his last fight against Luciano. I literally got him. I was like, shit, I need to check this out. Is he legit? Is he for real? What's going on? And then I seen him and I'm like, yeah, he's a champion. He's a legit, decent, fucking one of the best in the country. So, yeah, fair play to him. I'm very happy with it.
So you had no idea who he was beforehand?
I wouldn't say no idea. I had no idea of him before the Luciano got announced. Because obviously I'll keep my eye on. There's a few guys I'll keep my eye on, whether it's Campbell, Vaile, Luciano, Rideout. Obviously, we were supposed to fight him. We were supposed to fight Rideout a few times. A few, probably the top 6, top 8 ranked guys. I'm always keeping my eye out. But Jono Micallef, he wasn't even on the radar. And then I seen him fight Luciano. I seen a couple of his previous fights, and I'm like, the kid's legit, man. He's fucking legit. He's
I've got to ask you this, and I mean, you can no comment if you want. Did Eternal contact you and try and make that fight? Because I know that Jono Micallef isn't locked into Hex.
Oh, wow, no, not at all. They never mentioned it. I know, obviously I've done a lot of homework since the fight got announced. So I've been looking up on Jonno's gym, a few of the guys around that. And from the sounds of it, like you just said, that he's not locked into Hex, and he's open to fighting on Eternal. To the point where he's clever. I've got to give him props. The guy's clever. He just said that Luciano gave up the Eternal bout to fight on Hex, and Luciano beat him, I think, 5 rounds to none. You beat him for 20 minutes, convincingly beat him. So really, what does he need to fight? Like in his head, he's just took the Eternal champion out, and now he's the Hex champion. So it's kind of like, he's done 2 birds with one stone a little bit, so it's a good chess move. And then obviously I was going to be the Eternal champion. Right out, don't get me wrong. I hope that fight happens in the future. A good opponent, but I just don't think he would have been enough. I think I would have got through right out pretty no, I wouldn't say comfortably, because that's arrogant as fuck. But I think I would have beat him with. There's a game plan to beating him. There's a what would you call it? There's a way to beat him, and my style is obviously there's no point in lying, and he's come forward and we fucking take people out, but so is his with the wildness of spinning, fucking everything. It's kind of like if you can be enough control with ride out, there's a way to do it anyway. There's a way to beat him, and that's not to say he's not high level because he's the highest level there is, but I watched him fight and I was thinking, look, you watch it and it's the opposite you want to teach people. You say, look at him fight and you go, he's doing everything wrong, but he's beating people and he's finishing people. So I'm like, it must be somewhere. So like even obviously the whole fight camp was built around right out, but it's like, it just must be when you're in there, it's different. You're getting caught when you're getting backhanded, but you're getting slapped on your leg. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm going to slap your jaw. I'm going to break you. But when it backhands you, it must offset. Yeah, I remember seeing Robbie Lawler saying that Nick Diaz back in the day, Nick Diaz slapped him and called him a bitch, and Robbie Lawler said, I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't work out what was happening there and then. His brain couldn't figure it out. I was thinking he would relate to that kind of thing where, like, you're coming with fucking venom at him and he slaps you and you're like, what are you doing? But then he or whatever, he does what he does. But yeah, so No, Eternal didn't go back to your question now and rambled on a bit. Eternal didn't even mention any of the top names. They went to me and they said they've asked everyone in the country. No one would take it. 4 weeks notice. They were saying short notice, but it's 4 or 5 weeks notice it was. So I'll never know who they contacted. How did you find out? I suppose from knowing people from the gyms. So I didn't even get a message from or anything to say what was the injury or how long's he out for. Is it a small injury? Is it a lot? Is he on the next card? It's quite like they left me floating a little bit. Like, yeah, he's out. We're looking for a replacement, and I'm going, well, okay, who? And if that was the worst outcome, what's the next show? Which I know they had shows in Sydney or over east. No mention of flying me anywhere. It was just kind of, yeah, the next show in Perth will be this. And I'm like, wow, it's months away. It was June, yeah. So I'm like, I was ready to go in February. I've been ready to go since October, fucking last year. So wait till June. It's ridiculous.
So are you and Eternal still good? Could we see you maybe June in Eternal?
100%. Yeah, I'm good with whoever. Like, where I am at now, Mitch. Obviously, we spoke about this. You've known me for years. Where I'm at, I haven't got time to fight people that it's not worth fighting. I understand there's a whole game plan to it. You don't want to fight people below you. Everyone wants to get ahead. There's guys I've got ahead of me that I really want to fight and I will beat and I know I will, and they know it as well. But it's hard when you've got to break the ice. You've basically got to put your time in before you can fight one of the big name guys. So it's like, if Eternal come to me with a big name guy, one of the bigger guys in the country, then 100%, yeah, of course. And Hex, I've fought on Hex before. I've always kept a good relationship with the Hex guys. Yeah, I remember Trent back in the day. I know the guys now. Like, it's business at the end of the day. We're fighting. We all want to get to the top. We want to get to the big show. We all want to be paid. You want to earn enough money so you can fight full time. That's the end goal. So, like, if Eternal is the route, then Eternal is the route. If Hex is the route, Hex is the route. Personally, as it stands, looking at all the Hex champions, especially welterweight champions that are in the UFC, yeah, I think that could be the way to go.
It does also feel like promotions are almost owning certain weight divisions. Like you said, Hex, they've got Matt Vaile, Kitt Campbell fighting on the card. More than likely Joey Luciano, because I don't think he's going anywhere else. You and Jono Micallef
fight back on whatever XFC.
But you know what I mean? Like, so X is balling with the welterweights. In fact, some of those welterweights are on your card. Are you looking to send a message? I mean, you've danced with one before.
Yeah, of course. So I've kept my eye on Kitt for a fair few years, and same as Jonno, same as Rideout, same as all the guys. Respectful. I enjoy watching fights. I bang it. I watched this fight against Kevin Doucette. Good fight, really good fight, but he's beatable. I know he's beatable, and our fight in the past, there's no excuses. I don't want to reel out excuses, but the truth of the matter is, I fought Nick Wood 4 weeks before that, and if anyone remembers that fight, go back and watch the fight. Nick Wood was the best in WA by far for years. I fought Nick Wood and then fought Kitt 4 weeks later. Bad timing, yeah, like I said, I hate making excuses, but
No, it's not. I can 100% validate that because I thought that was actually a bad decision at the time. You went in through an absolute war with Nick Wood. Your chin wouldn't have been recovered.
my whole body. I had a fractured hand, fractured shin. Like the doctor, obviously, we love the doctors over here, but he only he knows, as in medically wise, you should, like, we did a medical physical test. He just laughed and went, mate, you can barely even train at all. You should not be. He put it down to you. So he go, in my head, with anything, business, life, you bet big, you win big. So in my head at the time, before the fight was, I knew about the fight. It wasn't like a last minute fight. We scheduled them 2 fights in with a full fight camp for the both, but not expecting to be such a brutal war with Nick, which is stupid really, because Nick fucking batters everyone. He battered everyone at the time. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, yeah, I went into the fight real banged up, and that's not to say Kitt's a banger. Kitt, I've seen Kitt.
Yeah, and especially then, he was the man.
Yeah. He's a real guy, one of the real ones where fight anyone anytime. People say that, but they won't prove it. I've always been like that. Fight anyone anytime. And so whether, if I'm honest, if I'm bringing up the young lads now, you got to be a bit more strategic. Back in the day, you're like, fly me to Melbourne, I'll bang the best in Melbourne, I'll take the best in Perth out. But in my head was, in my head was, you'd be the best in WA, you'd be the best in Victoria, you'd be on the UFC within months. It's a gamble. You lose, obviously you lose, but if you win, you're in the UFC. That was the thought process. Obviously you don't go in there and expect to be lying on your back looking up at the bloody lights in round one, but I think that's the fight I've always wanted to get back, always, from when he fought Varke on Hex in WA at Metros. I remember we came across each other there. No bad words, but you could just tell it was a bit of a standoff. It was like a funny standoff in the hallway, and it was just, like, don't get me wrong, I had a fight that night, so there's no animosity against these guys, but at the end of the day, you're on the hit list. If people are in front of you and they're winning, they're on the hit list.
Well, I feel like he would understand that because he's been chasing down Matt Vaile for a rematch for 6 years. He finally gets it.
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't he want to eventually give you that opportunity? He's also very close with Jono Micallef, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't want Jonno to win, but I'm just saying if Jonno doesn't, it's more benefit for him because he gets to fight you.
Yeah, it's if you want to look at the end of the day, fighting, UFC, PFL, Bellator, One Championship, is you have to be selfish to get to these big leagues. You have to be. We've all got a team. I've got a brilliant team around me. I have had for years. But you have to be selfish to a degree to get there. So Kitt's fought some of the best in the country. If he wants to get there, you need to be selfish and get there. Like, it's kind of like for me to take Jonno out. Obviously, that's what we're looking at doing. Kitt, Matt, right out, like, you name them, whoever's there.
I wanted to ask you, Matt Vaile has said for many years that, you know, people are out there ducking him, he can't find fights. Have you ever been offered Matt Vaile?
Never. I've never been offered him. I only know about Matt Vaile through Instagram people who just, I don't know what it is. Like, I've got some good mates in New Zealand, I've got some Maldives, I've got a close relationship with New Zealand people, but I don't know what the delusional thought from that side is, where I've been tagged in stuff where I've been told I'm ducking him, Jonno's been told he's ducking him, Luciano's ducking him. I can promise you, and I got into it, I fucking try not to, but I got into it with someone, I don't even know who he was, arguing back and forth on Instagram over the lads are ducking people, and I'm like, I can promise you now, there's none of these guys at this level are ducking anybody. Like I said a minute ago, if it makes sense, we'll fight. If you've disappeared for 2 years, you come back on the scene, and all of a sudden you want to fight the number one and the number two, like, you got to get back in line and start fighting again. Like, what's the gain from fighting that person? What's the gain from fighting him? There has to be something in it. But that's what I think. I think I've took some last minute fights. I've took some 4-week notice, 2 fights in a month. That you probably shouldn't have done it. I've seen Kitt take some fights. I don't think he should have done it. He's gone up away and fought some murderous people, and I think he'd look at it and go, he spun the dice and he didn't pay off. But I don't know that much about Matt Vaile, to be quite honest. He's not ever been on my number one radar, but I've seen a couple of fights of his. Yeah, he looks good, but he doesn't look anything better than any of the guys I've just named. So I don't know what, he must have a big following of just delusional, like, I don't know what it is. But Like, he could be a fucking brilliant guy, but when you've got people like arguing your corner, not making any sense, it makes you look stupid. Telling people you're ducking, like, you tell me to my face that I'm ducking somebody, will fucking go out in the car park. There's no one's ducking anybody. There's no fear. We're at the age now, we're at the experience where no one's scared to fight anybody. I'm not going to fight someone that's 2-0, that's brand new or whatever, or does it make sense? We've all got a goal. We're fighting. I personally probably different for the other boys because of my age. I'm a little bit older. I fight because I really enjoy it. I do enjoy it, and I'll be lost without it. But like, I still want to get to the big shows. We have contacts with people, and we have some good conversations about you could win with Hex, Eternal, UFC here twice this year. So you don't know, your name's in the mix. We take out Jonno, your name's in the mix.
Well, I know for a fact that the UFC is watching Jonno, and especially on this fight. So I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to come out and take all that hype. Man, you've been 5-0 at one point. Like, it's going to be a weird question to ask you, but what advice would you give Jonno, who is 5-0? Let's pretend you're not fighting. Take yourself back to when you were 5-0.
Very, very good question, because I was talking about this just the other day. So I remember, this is my advantage now, the experience. I've been fighting pro MMA for 12 years now. I remember being 6-0, staunching people as well, stopping them dead. And every time, I think the first 4 or 5, you were a complete underdog, and you're just staunching people, and they're like, oh shit, okay, we probably need to take a little bit of notice of him. So, but the difference is, you need that loss. You need that humbling to make you realise, like you feel invincible. You're young. You're knocking people out. You're 5-0. You're knocking people out. But there's bigger, badder people around. There really is. There really is. Like, my advice to him is keep doing what he's doing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think the way he's going, he will get there eventually. I think he will get there. Like, I think the Luciano fight shows how good he is. If I'm honest, I think Luciano maybe didn't expect him to be as good as he was. I mean, just watching the fight, watching it a couple of times now, and I don't think he expected him to be as good as he was. And same as me, I hold my hand up. I watched that fight, and I was saying to myself, he's getting fed to Luciano in his first Hex fight, and I watched it, fucking 4 rounds, smoked him, didn't even beat him convincingly every round. Even to the point we look at his corner man. I remember, like I said, I'll go into detail. I listened to what his corner man was saying, Luciano's, and quite so delusional. He was saying, there was some of the stuff they were saying. I was like, oh, I don't know. It's just listen to it. I think round 2 and 3, his corner man had given him advice, and all he's got is a straight left. And I was thinking, he's kicking you, he's taking you down. He's got an arsenal of weapons, and your corner man are telling you he's just got one hand. I'm like, they're delusional as well. I think you've all underestimated this, whereas, lucky for us, we've got now the homework of, you see how good he is. He hadn't faced anyone that good up to then, but that's Luciano was supposedly the best in the country. 4 rounds to 0. It makes you think. I look at him and go, he's switched on, he's clever, he's not as dumb as he looks. That's the nice way of saying it. He looks like he'd be a young, dumb 5-0, I'll smoke people, but you hear him talk and you see him hold himself, and I'm like, I can see why the UFC are watching him. I can see that's a nice way of saying it without, I don't like all this bullshit people being too nice to each other. It's like, at the end of the day, we're going to fight. I'm going to try and punch holes in your face, and then we can have beers afterwards. But for now, you're on that absolute hit list. In the future, you don't know what can happen.
Well, speaking of that, how is this fight going to go? I mean, is it going to be the same Aldin style? We're going to come out and try and take his head off?
Basically, I'm going to punch him a couple of times, I'm going to kick him a couple of times, and just see how it goes from there, really. No. He's got it, like, so the different people, I don't know whether different fighters, they focus on other people. I focus on what I'm good at, and I just sharpen what I'm good at, and obviously we'll change stuff with him. He will change himself from the Luciano. Like, he's good all round, young and confident, but he's not good enough. I don't think he's better at anything than me, at all. I think he'll be tested early on, and I think you'll see the difference of competition in the early rounds.
Now, back at welterweight, you walk around, I swear, at 160 kilos ripped out of stone. You nearly die every single weight cut. How are you going this one?
Nearly die. If my wife's watching, I don't nearly die. It's actually very well controlled. No. I've had a few. My last one was very bad, but I was sick just before the fight. So I am one of the most stubborn people you'll meet. I've been fighting well away, like I say, for 12 years. 12 years. My first pro fight was 77 kilos. I was 25, and now I'm a bit older, but so I can still make the weight comfortably. It just has to be a lot more strategic. There's lots more moving plates where I've obviously, for example, professional-wise, I'm getting DEXA scans a couple of times a year. I get calipers, I get my body fat measured, muscle, body fat, visceral fat. I know everything on my body, where it's operating. I get my liver tested all the time. I get my kidneys. Obviously, after that last weight cut, I had to do all kind of medical stuff. But the weight's tracking really good. It's really good. It's better than it was last time with, about to say a week out, but a few days out. But yeah, weight for this fight isn't at all a problem or an issue.
Now, you never ask a lady or a fighter their walk-around weight, but what is it?
What do you think it is?
105.
104, actually. No. Out of camp. I'll be hitting the 90 mark. Depends on what I'm doing. Like, so I've known about the Eternal title fight since October. So we've been pulling it back since then. I've been on 2 holidays since then, of Christmas, New Year's. I've had. Jonno's going to find this out because I've had some restrictions over the last 4 months of no drinking, eating. Like, my diet has been so strict that everyone hates me in my house. Like, I'm an arsehole to live with because of how strict this has to be, so that last time can't happen again. So I've got some really good people working with Kelly and the shredded team down in Osborne Park. So like I say, we were measuring everything. It couldn't be any more scientific if you tried. But walking around before this, probably before Christmas, late 80s, 90 before then, November, and it's just slowly coming down. I'll be on the night. I'll be over 80, mid 80s. But here's a good question. What about Jonno? What do you reckon Jonno walks around at?
Oof. I reckon 92.
Do you really? Yeah, Gav.
He's a big boy, man.
He is. I know. That's the key. I'm glad you said it, because I get pulled into the weight conversation all the time. It feels like, oh, you've got so much weight, but it's because the guys you're fighting are fucking big boys.
You have to do it.
Yeah. Jonno's, 24, 25? I think he's going to be pushing the mid-90s, early 90s, jacked, ripped. Like, what do you want me to do? Walk around at 77, walk around at 80, and you get fucking mollywobbed. You get your ass kicked by a 92-year-old, 92-kilo, 25-year-old.
And both you two have, I reckon, maybe 4% body fat between the both of you. You run, you operate at that level. But yeah, it's incredible. Mate, before I let you go, because, I mean, thanks for taking the time, but we'll probably chat again at the press conference. First of all, you looking forward to the press conference? I mean,
I am, yeah. The last time I was on a Hex press conference, I was that was one of the fights where you're the complete you're the underdog, and I just got brought in. This was when I trained in Strike MMA with Jonno down in Rockingham. I got brought in because our head guy was fighting. And I think they were like, have you got anyone else that can fight in your gym? And they were like, we got some black backpacker, I think he can fight. And they were like, do you want to come to Melbourne? And I was like, a free trip to Melbourne? Yeah, I'll go. Brown belt, jiu-jitsu, Matt McGuinness. I think his record was, I can't remember exactly, maybe 4-0, 5-0. I'm like 1-0. I'm like, I'll just come for the free fly and the experience. Ended up taking him out round 2 badly as well. He got hurt badly in that fight. But the press conference last time, I just sat on the table. I don't think anyone even knew who I was. But I think there's a lot of big names on that table. With what you say, with the Matt Vailes and the Campbell, and there's a few WA boys they're making big moves. So yeah, I look forward to it. It's a funny one because it's training. You get to the big show. This is your biggest week of possibly income and money making and chatting and talking. But you feel like shit. Like you're water loading, you're not eating.
You got people like me asking you questions while Matt Vailes right there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Mitch, we spoke off camera. That's why you're good at your job, because you ask these hard questions that people want to hear. But fighters are egotistical. and sometimes you don't want to hear it. And like the way I deal with stuff is aggression. So when you come at me and say something that I don't like, the instant reaction is aggression. So that's your job. My job is not to react. That's one of my biggest.
Yeah, so it's just me. I'm just getting you ready. It's not.
It's fine.
I'm not stirring shit, bro. I'm just getting you ready for UFC.
That's exactly right. He's Ariel. Mitch is the Australian Ariel Hawani.
I don't even know if that's a compliment anymore.
No, it's probably not. If the UFC here, if Dana is, he's like, get rid of it.
Well, I mean, look, if you know anything about Australian MMA and my relationship with some promotions, I guess I am Ariel Hawani.
I think that is the guy. Yeah, if you're bold and you try and be 6 foot nothing, I think, yeah, you probably are the Ariel Hawani to any bald. Yeah.
Mate, all right, before I let you go, just what can everyone expect March 2nd?
So, this fight camp, which I've said so many times, it sounds a little bit generic, but fitness is on point, power, technique, everything. There's no excuses from our side. I've gone into fights injured before, badly, and won. I've gone into fights injured and lost. I am 100% firing on all cylinders. This is massive for me, probably more than anyone on that card. Like I say, because from the experience I have, this is a massive fight for me. So it's a shame for Jonno because he's in front of me, and it's like we said earlier, I don't mind the lad. He seems like a decent lad, but I'm going to come through some venom for him, and I think he knows that as well. Everyone knows that. So it's hard for me to say some different. I'm going to wrestle and do some jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to punch your head off and probably get dragged off here. That's what it's going to look. But it can go either way. 2 big punches, 2 big strong boys, confident, strong, fit. 25 minutes. I've not ever been that far, so we'll see. And I keep hearing him talk about 20. I'm going to drag him into deep waters. Let's see if you get there. Yeah. Maybe. I'm a pretty good swimmer. Let's see.
Aldin Bates taking on Jono Micallef March 2nd for the Hex welterweight title. Mate, best of luck. It's good to see you back out there.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. Big shout out to the Wolf Den team who's helped me for months now get ready for this, from the pull-outs on Eternal to Hex, putting this fight together. Easiest fight, I think, one of the biggest fights in the country that was put together so fast and so easily. So props to Hex, props to Jonno. Massive shout out to Kelly and all the shredding team that have done all my strength and conditioning over the last 8-9 months, and just got me in the shape where I'm at with Steve and the strength and conditioning team. We're ready. There's no stone unturned with this. So, yeah, everything, we're ready to go. Family, yeah, and a big thank you to all my family and all my friends. My wife hates me for months at a time because of all the shit I have to put her through. So this is for you guys. I owe a lot to everyone that's backed me for years. So you'll see Saturday night. Come Saturday night, the 2nd, it's on. Melbourne Pavilion is on. Fire of the night, 100%. Also, how can you bet on it? I've got some people that want to put some bets on. Do you know anything about that, Mitch?
I'll take them.
Yeah. Aldin 2nd round, knockout.
Thanks, brother.
God about that.